Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Peacemaker Podcast on the DC Studios podcast. We are here to talk about season 2, episode 1 of Peacemaker. Also, need to acknowledge that every single time we start an episode, Mike is always dancing to the intro.
Yes, I wish all you guys could see, like on stream here, there is a little bar for us hosting, and we see. So while you guys are watching the video intro, we're just sitting there laughing our asses off because he's like,
He is
I don't know.
performing.
I think this time,
Accusations.
I think this time there was
It's true.
I think there's a twerk this time. So
Throw some dollars. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But no, I'm so excited to be back with the guys. If you haven't seen our advanced review, you can go and watch it if you'd like. It's awesome and we're awesome. But yeah, I wanted to check in with you guys before we get started. How are you, Mr. and Mrs. Sal? So well.
Doing very well. Baby making's great. Just say that. It's great. I'm happy, y'all. I can't ask for more. You know.
TMI. Don't need to know that. Thank you.
Well, with this show, hey, that's the least of your concern.
TMI for Auntie. TMI for Auntie.
Oh yeah, so right, but you come on.
I want to know the end result. I don't need to know
the end results, but you don't know how we got there. But you want to know the
magic. It's amazing.
Magic, faith, trust, and pixie dust.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
Yes. Andy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Summer is finally starting to end, and we're listen. For me, it's been so weird getting back into podcasting because for anyone who knows me, I used to I did 10 years of the Flash podcast, so every week pretty much. But now it's been kind of like in between periods that I'm doing podcasting, like either it's Penguin or it's Creature Commandos, or then, and then we do some of our one-offs, whatever. So now that, I'm like back to another regular schedule, I'm like, damn, I used to be busy. So, but I'm good. I'm excited. We're finally here. Peacemaker, when you guys are watching it here on YouTube or listening to wherever you get your podcast from, episode 1 will have just dropped on HBO Max, and then apparently not every country has HBO Max yet, so there's the different services that Peacemaker will be streaming on. So wherever you're in the world, I hope you're enjoying the premiere. But yeah, I'm excited to be back with you guys and get into what has been. I mean, this is a crazy premiere, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. That's to say the least.
How is Vanessa? How is Miss Vanessa Shork?
I'm doing good. I have been very busy these last 2 weeks, just hit the ground running, doing my reviews, interviews, and just excited to have all my stuff coming up. You guys can look at my shit on everything. Very excited to talk about this episode. Very excited to talk about the Justice League of it all. If we want to start, just kick it off with that. I don't know if we have any news since we just recorded.
I have one news, and I will keep it brief because I need to rant. Vanessa, how are you into video games a lot? Do you play a lot of video games? Okay. Then I guess me and Mike will get to rage about this. So one of the things that James Gunn has always talked about with the DC studios is that not only are they running live action animation, but also video games. But we've heard nada about video games, and if you've been a DC fan, we've been struggling out here. Gotham Knights was not it. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League was not it. And we have a new Lego Batman video game. Yay. But James Gunn spoke recently to Games Radar that there's been some slight movement on different things. We have a couple little DC games coming out, but we've all talked about and in an early stage of planning some bigger things. One thing in particular I'm excited about, but it does take some time. There's been some change in one of our games, and so we're dealing with new people. And this was the one thing I know a lot of people had criticism about, when they initially announced from these studios, how is DCU tie-in games going to work? Because again, we've been burned. We were supposed to get a Wonder Woman game that was in development for 4 years. Now it's gone. $100 million was wasted. So I don't know why I raised my hopes thinking that this was going to work out, because we're suffering when it comes to DC games right now. We haven't had a good game since Arkham Knight, and I don't think we're getting Injustice free anytime soon. So I kind of wish this was the one thing that DC studios maybe didn't have to focus on and kind of just let like if it's Rocksteady or whatever. And I don't know, I like, again, and Vanessa, I would love to, even if you're not playing video games, like, what was your, like, when you heard initially that they were even going to focus on video games for DCU, like, were you kind of like, the fuck? Why are we doing
I
this?
don't believe it. I don't believe anything they say about video games. I don't believe shit about they. This is why I have zero interest in this topic, because they don't ever follow through, like with video games. So I just don't have anything to say. I don't play them, and DC lies. DC's a lie. Yeah, that's about how I feel about that.
Yeah. When they announced it, I was like, okay, that's too good to be true. I mean, I think, again, just like with the Authority, is it going to be here? We don't know, but it's just like, it's almost like that doesn't get, delivered. Like, I'm not going to be mad. I'm just, now, what I do get mad about is that while we still have not had a Superman game within Rocksteady, which has been overly, wanted for fans for years, and eventually turned into Suicide Squad, killed the Justice League, but then eventually got retconned and say, oh no, they're actually just clones, even though we actually did kill Wonder Woman for real. Now, so yeah, no, all the, the retconning and everything, when they act like, oh yeah, this is actually, it is. The whole game was a mistake. The whole game was absolutely a mistake. But I felt that for extra content, this is, again, biting off more than you can chew. Just give me good movies. Let's start with that. And which that's a tall order in itself, when you want to try to do that consistently, to have that sense of momentum in all your franchises. So when you do a video game, that then be like, okay, this is earned. To me personally, I will not want to see a video game until after you do a Justice League film. And I don't see a Justice League film happening until another maybe 5 years from now, possibly. Maybe even longer than that, just depending on how things go. But yeah, I don't need a game. I need good movies.
Boom.
Yeah, I just need to get out of my system. Because I saw it today, I'm like, why did I'm too naive. Like, I should not have been excited.
Every single time I see any little bit of DC video game related news, it is almost always something disappointing. So I just try to not pay attention anymore. Because
Marvel's kicking asses.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I know, don't they have like a Marvel
Rivals? I'm a grandmaster. Yes, I'm competitive.
Yes, he is.
Okay, that's adorable. Anyway,
Grandmaster Iron Man up in here. That's me. That's my name.
There is no Marvel fatigue when it comes to video games. And so on that note, let's talk about this Peacemaker episode. Yes, you guys, the intro.
Yes. Oh my! Finally.
Let's talk about the intro. Justice League in the finale of season 1 appeared. It was Aquaman, Ezra Miller's Flash, and
shadows.
Shadows, just silhouettes, right?
Shadows.
This time, they get replaced in the intro with Superman, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and
Supergirl. That was so. The first eye roll of the episode for me was like, okay, all right, okay, this is what we're doing. And again, if you know DC, if you watch DC television, they've done this before. Watch the CW, much as it has its highs and lows and everything, and the Felicity fans and all that BS, all that they've done a really good job in terms of retconning when they do Flashpoint, Crisis, and everything. When all these shows were on different networks. Supergirl was on CBS, and then they did that crossover, and then eventually she got to the CW, and then we still now on the same network but not in the same continuity. Batman doesn't exist in this world, now he does, and all this stuff. And then when you do the retcon of Crisis, and then Supergirl and Flash are fighting villains in the same place, it's like, oh wait, you're in my Earth, right? No, you're in mine. And then you have the writer of Crisis coming in and saying like, yeah, this has always been happening, like forever. So this is our new reality. Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, all of them, they were here. Now, for me, to see Supergirl there was very interesting. See her fly. Like, I mean, I know it's a silhouette, but I'm just saying, just to see Superman and Supergirl together, that's live action, not CGI, AI BS in the Flash. But I'm saying with this, like, the silhouettes, they're there. Miss Terrific there too. Great. Love it. It just kind of give that sense of like, all right, they've been working together before. So it won't be like, oh yeah, whenever we see them in this next Superman team up or whatever, or Superman family related film, that at least there's history with these two, which again, for me, I'm waiting to see that live action. So, but yeah, I liked it. It was short and sweet. Let's keep it moving. This is our new reality.
Yes. What about you, Andy? What'd you think?
I kind of like started howling in laughter because for the last year or so, like I've been, me and a lot of people like online, like been theorizing like how is this gonna, how they're gonna explain the universe shift and so on. Like I thought, like for example, that it was gonna be something like they literally just step through like a TV screen and just like literally into the world of DCU or whatever, like kind of like a Deadpool kind of manner. So like when they literally do introduce, previously in the DCU, I'm like, is it really going to be this simple? And then the cameo happened, and like I just lost it. I'm like, you know what? I love that James Gunn like kind of just like played with everyone online of like how like we're not going to reveal how this is going to work, but like most season 1 is canon, and yeah. So I started laughing. I'm like, you know what? I like it's I accept that like okay, like there's nothing to dislike here. Like yeah, it was of course would have been cool to see David and Millie together. Yeah, but like we're gonna get it in the Superman saga, which is like
possibly in the 3 episodes that we still don't know anything.
Yeah, Vanessa called it, by the way, because right before when we recorded this, that interview had not come out yet, and James had said that I'm not gonna release these final 3 episodes. So DC Studios, if you need Vanessa for marketing, I hear she has experience. Maybe she will help you stop having influencers leaking stuff.
Ooh, thanks.
I'd be a little bit more discerning of who gets access. Just saying. Anyway.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun seeing like how they kind of explained that. Also, like I think it was also smart for like if anyone has never seen Peacemaker, and given that the show came out 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Yeah.
Around the pandemic.
This was like, this was a good catch up. And I think that it's whether or not how other fans will accept it. Like, but again, like I rather look at Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner making stupid jokes than having to listen to Aquaman and the person in the red suit. I'm not gonna call Ezra Miller Flash no more. I like that it was like it's simple. Like we don't like it's like okay, we don't have to spend a whole season wondering how this is gonna work. Like this is canon.
I agree. That's a good point. I think that they did a smart job by just like dressing it right from the beginning without like dragging it on, like making it even a part of the show and like, oh, is this some big mystery? At first when we saw the trailer, I thought at first I was like, oh, is this gonna be like him somehow getting into the DC universe and like from the DCU? Like we were all speculating and overcomplicating it, and they're just like, no. They're just gonna retcon this. It's good because like that's exactly what it is. It's very comic book like to just do that.
It's
like
right, exactly.
Comic books do it all the time, and people accept it, so they just can they'll just accept this. And I think it'll be fun to see like what how people like take it on social media and like in the news media, because
they're gonna make something mad of it. They're gonna be pissed about that.
I know the Snyder bots will be mad, but I'm generally
was the blueprint.
I do enjoy. I'm excited to see how people like because I know that the fanboys love them some Hawkgirl. So I think seeing more Hawkgirl and like it will delight most fans. Speaking of Hawkgirl, let's talk about the Justice League interview. That was wild and also pretty accurate to the Justice League International. They have a similar vibes. Like I want to say for people who don't really realize and they're like, is this how the Justice League is? Actually, yes, the Justice League International is very much this energy. Nathan Fillion is doing a fantastic job portraying this version of Guy Gardner. Like, and it's probably that version of Guy Gardner, the Kevin Maguire version, is like the kind of the definitive version that people have been defined all versions of Guy Gardner after.
Yeah.
And so I think he's killing it. Not only that, we got James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, as Maxwell Lord, and he also was on Gilmore Girls, so that's how I know him from. I didn't even know he was James Gunn until like 2 years ago. And we have Isabella Merced as returning as Hawkgirl. We also got a White Rabbit, you guys, in this episode, which was not what I was expecting. White Rabbit, if you don't know, her name is Jaina. She's like a low level, sometimes hero, sometimes villain. She was recently in the comics in the Gotham City Sirens book. I can't remember what it was called. It was not this past summer, but the summer before. And she like can grow and get small, and she has an interesting power set, but mostly they just had her there to make camel toe jokes. But regardless, it was so fun to see her.
I think beyond that, not aside from the camel toe joke and everything, but it's like the fact of what I love about the DC universe is the fact of the randomness, the possibility that can happen that a random character just walks by.
Yeah.
And unlikely that Marvel has not done that, you know, and to a point where, oh yeah, well, we can't use this character even though we're in the same fucking city. But it's like, you know, in this case here, it makes more sense in context of tryouts. Hey, there might be someone waiting out there that you might know. We don't have to put much emphasis on it, but if you're a reader, you know. And then if you didn't, like, white costume, rabbit ears. Okay. And I'd like that. It kind of give that sense of world building, but not in the same time like we got to spend this much same amount of time on secondary or like D-level tier characters and stuff. Can she come back possibly maybe in Gotham City's not like whatever, we don't know, but at least it's just showing that he's willingness to add a character there. It's like in the future, who knows? The question popping by in Gotham City and Lanterns. I don't know. I'm just getting my hopes too.
That's real though. Like we now James Gunn is really good at elevating minor characters. That's like one of his specialties. So I have a feeling we're going to see characters like that sprinkled throughout. I mean, throughout this entire season, we already seen like we have Sasha Bordeaux, we have White Rabbit. Like there's already characters like that are deemed minor characters, but have their own storylines throughout the DC canon that are already appearing in the show. So we will probably see stuff like that pop up in Lanterns. But like, what did you guys think of the whole Justice League interview or Justice Gang, interview from like start to finish, Andy?
It's the moment when they realize that the microphone turn off didn't work. I'm thinking, how many people did they interview that day? And I'm like, it was probably a lot of people. And yeah, to Vanessa's point about Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner again, because I haven't read many Guy Gardner comic, but everyone just kind of just warned me when they were adding him to Superman. Like, he's a douche. I'm like, okay. I'm like, no, Andy, he's really, really horrible. He's just very cocky, and I kind of dig that. Also because it's still so funny, like seeing, because I grew up with Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan in animation, and now he's Guy Gardner. So like I'm trying to get used to that. But no, it was so funny seeing more of the Justice Gang, especially Sean Gunn's Maxwell Lord, because for whatever reason, this is a character that before this version, every live action part that's used Maxwell Lord has somehow just not been able to figure him out. Small did not do a good job with him. Supergirl did not do a good job with him. Wonder Woman 19 whatever year it was did not do a good job either. So it's like finally this is like a Maxwell Lord. It seems kind of like they know what they're going to do with him. And again, like Justice League International has been talked about a lot. And if this is kind of like what they're setting up, then I'm like, yeah, I'm totally here for it. But yeah, I felt so bad for Christopher Smith, like just sitting there, like he's really trying, and I'm like, poor baby. And it was rough, but it was so funny. And then like the fact that he like kind of just walks out on them, like it's not them getting to kick him out, but it's him getting to leave them. That was very satisfactory.
Mm-hmm.
To your point about Maxwell Lord, before I go to Mike, the reason why we get so many weird versions of him that don't really nail him is because everyone's going for the Identity Crisis Max version, not the like Maxwell Lord when he was first introduced he was just kind of like a helpful billionaire. Like he created to help fund the Justice League. Like he wasn't bad. Like he literally was a part of the team. He was very Snapper Carr-esque. Like he wasn't bad. Like at first, he just then became they kind of. You can say what you want about Maxwell Lord's later storyline, but he originally was not a bad guy. So like that's why I think people get like his birth, like when they do him in live action, they never get him right because they're just going for this generic evil billionaire trope, which that wasn't originally what he was written as. So that, to your point, I think that's why. I think this version is more speaking to, like I said, the JLI version, which is what he did. He built up the JLI and funded them and did all that. So.
Can I just ask quickly? When you say Identity Crisis, is that the one where he makes Diana?
Yeah. No, yes. He was mind controlling Superman, and Diana had to snap his neck. to stop him. So that was basically her. Each of the Trinity have their like moments. Bane breaking Batman's back, Superman getting killed by Doomsday, Wonder Woman snapping Maxwell Lord's neck. Those are the three that changed. That's their change of trajectory of their heroes. Blah, blah. So yeah, that's like a very definitive defining point in Wonder Woman's like entire history.
Yep.
So yeah, what did you think, Mike, about
but the whole theme of this season, again, the part that I really enjoy is just that after season 2, there is a moment for a lot of these characters feeling like, hey, I just saved the world. What do I get? Right? I'm not like Superman. I'm not like some of these bigger heroes here. I know my position, but at the same time, what I did mattered. It had impact, but apparently it's just swept under the rug. And it kind of reminded me of when Deadpool was interviewing for the Avengers with Happy and Deadpool Wolverine. He's just like, I just want to matter, I just want to be important. And I felt that even though that Chris didn't say that, I know that he was feeling that way, especially when you're trying to go in for an interview, like, especially anybody been in a interview position, whatever, you don't really know what these people are thinking. And then until like you maybe hear once you leave the room, like, oh my God, this guy sucks. And like, I'm still here. I can still hear you. Like it does affect your ego, but more important, like your self-esteem. Which I think with the entire team Peacemaker is all-time low at the moment, just because of the ramifications of season 1. But in terms of like with Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl, now to me, again, I'm still not sold on Isabella as Hawkgirl. Not that I don't think she's a good actress, it's just like I'm not given anything to be attached to this character, and I'm just waiting until we get that moment. I know she's a capable actress to deliver whatever performance the writing will entail her to do, but I'm just like, I want Isabella in a more defining role that's like, like, yes, you see Hawkgirl, like, yeah, because that's my memory of Hawkgirl is like every time you see her, like, yes, and Isabella's just there. It's just like that Hawkgirl just version is there, like, oh yeah, I gotta stop eating as my butt gonna get fat. I'm like, it's like, okay, all right. And then with Guy interacting with the Maxwell Lord and everything, again, it's given that corporate side of the DCU that I would also like to see explored. See the conversation between Wayne Enterprises and Cord Industries and Queen Industries, whatever, Lex Luthor Corp or whatever. Like, I want to see that side, that also that Stag Industries, again, like those things does add a lot of world building, but again, it makes sense that some of these corporations are like, yeah, we're in the superhero business, we're funding them, the boys didn't do it first, okay? So yeah, they got it from DC anyway. Yeah, so I just thought that was good, just in terms of that seed, and we saw a little bit of him as Superman, and was it Lord Industries, whatever? I forgot what the actual company is, Lord Tech. So, yeah, so we see the building when he was fighting the kaiju that he's protecting it from. So, yeah, love to see more of him, but I don't think he's gonna be really a big part of this season.
Yeah. Speaking of Chris's like wanting to be respected as a hero, that plus his like he has this need to have like his happy ending. Like, he's the hero, he saved the world, he should get the girl and be seen as a hero, and he doesn't get any of that, and this kind of sends him into a spiral that we see, which basically leads us into the alternate universe we see. A lot of stuff in this episode was crazy. The sad orgy was it 100% necessary? No, a lot of the stuff in the show is probably unnecessary, but I think that it is showing that Chris has a lot of addictions and vices, and he does not know how to handle his emotions, and he buries himself and drowns himself in a lot of his vices, including naked bodies and cocaine and whatever. We also know that like he was rejected, right? Was this the episode where he's like, him and Harcourt? Am I?
Yeah.
She gets into a bar fight, and he goes and checks on her, and she's like, I'm fine.
Yes. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Yeah,
you're good. I got you.
So we also know that Argus is monitoring Chris, because earlier, a few months before, he had opened the door to the dimensional door that his dad owns, and so they've been monitoring ever since. But we'll talk about that another time. But the alternate universe and Chris's struggles leading into the universe. Let's talk about that, and him kind of discovering that his dad's alive in a different universe.
You're good. Stay there.
Yeah,
You're good. Yeah. Stay there. You're good. You're good. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Again, now depending on how whatever long-term vision that James had for Peacemaker at the end of season 1 when he killed his dad and he said, no, part of me will always be with you. Then I thought maybe in season 2 just be like, oh yeah, that part of him is in his head, which we've seen that plot, in many different shows, whatever. People not letting go of their trauma until they reach a certain point in their arc. But in here, like, no, that's his dad, but from a different dimension. And a much sweeter personality. Like, hey, Chris, how you doing? And yeah, leave the white supremacy in different Earth. We love it. So like, yeah, we definitely need that now. So it's just like I like that aspect of there, but again, I think this entire episode is kind of leading to a point of like, what's in his reality right now is that he's just dealing with like, nope, this is like, I need some form of escapism. What better way of escapism than to go to a different dimension? At least it's setting that seed, at the end of the episode and everything. But again, I think escapism, and everyone has their vices. I think more than just Chris, but also hardcore economists and everything. Like, everyone have their vices, how they're dealing with the aftermath of season 1.
What about you, Andy? Any thoughts?
Okay, I just wanted to go. I was going to go confirm to see that it is from this episode. We can't talk about it. Yeah. But that's that. I've never seen.
I paused. I was like, shit. We discovered.
I got you. Yes, I have a photographic memory. I got y'all. I got both of you
listening or watching this. Yes, his brother is alive in another universe. And that's you're good. You're good. Like, you're good. There's no
alive. He also kills himself. And guys, what the fuck?
Yes.
That is like very pointed way of killing your ego. Let's just like talk about all of it. Andy, what were your
shit, that's deep. I didn't even think about it that way. I thought it was like, oh, whoops, he just
No, I feel like that was like a very deep thing of like killing your ego. Like this, and he's like, it's just like so intense because he hates himself. Like, I think Chris hates himself. I think
it's self-loathing.
Yeah.
And again, this is not that type of podcast, but I'm saying there was a period of my life where it was like that. Pre-pandemic, again, 2019, 2020, very hard year. I was saying that it's more of, again, what you're feeling right now is kind of the weight of the reality. Is like, you don't want to feel what you're feeling, to either you're causing some type of pain or some type of dopamine effect or anything like that. That is, again, it's just a way in terms of escaping from what you're feeling, which is the emotional level. And whether some people might resort to physical pain or whatever. That's, again, going back to what I said before, the vices. But I got to give a testament to James. Is like, one thing I can trust James, what he can do, he know how to do trauma very well. And with a lot of his characters, even to a point where you might think a character is one-dimensional, and then you later find another aspect of them that's like, oh no, there's many layers to this, which is what we are as human beings. Which is I give props to James again, just kind of writing human stories, but with these fantastical characters. But yeah.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, for someone who, I've also dealt with a lot of, dark mental health struggles over my, the last decade. So, when I watched this show, because I always think I'm about to watch Peacemaker, I'm just gonna sit there and laugh for an hour or whatever and so on. But then, and that's I think that if James Gunn at some point, if he decided to just completely remove himself from comedy and just focus on good drama, there's no stopping him because he is so damn good at it. Yeah, if he were to ever step away from comedy and focus strictly on drama, there's no stopping him because he is every dramatic story I've ever seen from his films, whether it's the Guardians of the Galaxy movies or even I don't like the Suicide Squad, but there's even moments where I'm like, damn. And then of course Superman, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and even now with Peacemaker and Creature Commandos, the dude has clearly dealt with some shit in his life, and like he knows how to like really explore that through, because again, comic book and superhero characters, this is our escapism. Like, we're, like, 'cause they have superpowers, there's dimensional travel or whatnot, but yet there's still all these deep stories that come through that I always enjoy, and this premiere is a testament to that. Like, again, for all the jokes that does not work with season 2, all the dramatic beats, like it outshines that. So it's like, even though I'm like, ugh, like there's, like we were talking about on our advanced review, there's some very offensive things that doesn't really need to be there, but for all the bad stuff that like we had to like groan about, there's so much good to sink our teeth into. Like, again, like even, I mean, I know we will talk about her in a second, but like, go back to the Suicide Squad and think, would you ever imagine Amelia Harcourt to be a character like this? Like, because like this is Vanessa, am I correct? This is like a minor character in Argus comics or something like that, right? Like she's in like a
No, she's original character.
She's an original character.
Yeah,
She
original character
before the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
No,
and
but
she mentioned this. She mentioned it in
saw
the podcast. It was in the podcast for James. Like, no, you created this character.
But there's like I saw like
But she's
artwork.
no, that's after.
They
That was
been
after.
added afterwards, but she was not canon prior.
No.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Like when back then when we think about, we watch someone like her, like who's just like a small character who stands up to men well, like we would never imagine like the kind of stuff that she has now gone through here, and that's what I love with Peacemaker again. Because again, I didn't even like start watching Peacemaker when he first premiered. I was like,
actually,
okay,
that's not correct. Amelia Harcourt was an NSA agent premiered in 2016, so that was prior to the Suicide Squad.
Okay, so she has like a small character that they kind of just reimagined for.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to like what Vanessa was talking about, like Chris literally killing his own like bigger ego, that's deep. And again, because like when you masculinity when it comes to media these days is that if you look like John Cena, you're supposed to be invincible. Like you don't cry, you don't have emotions, you're macho. Like nothing can stop you. I love the fact like the biggest dude I've ever seen in a DC project physically gets to cry about stuff. He gets to feel things, and like even like I remember like when the finale had aired of season 1, and like I think someone had said somewhere that John Cena was the one who had like even pushed for Peacemaker to be bisexual. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, what? Wait, how? Wait, did he just get hotter? Yes, he did. So, again, there's so many good deep themes with this, and again, the fact that like when you do multiverse stuff, and again, I think all of us can agree that the multiverse concept has been overdone. So if you're gonna bring it back, you gotta do something. Like if you're gonna go to another dimension, like make us feel something. Not let it be like, oh my god, like can you look how crazy different everything is on this other Earth and whatnot. So yeah, I enjoyed visiting the other realm, and again, there is so much more coming. And I'm like, fuck, we can't talk about it, but it's like it's gonna be fun to talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. I think that going in this direction of like alternate universes where it's so focused on a personal story makes it so much different than like these universe spanning ones where it's like, the multiverse, you can do it. So many good stories within the multiverse, but you can't overwhelm people with giant cosmic galactic stories in the multiverse when most of the time people just want to see smaller stories. And the most interesting stories in the multiverse are when someone is confronted with an alternate life. That is like one of the biggest things is the grass is not always greener on the other side. Or is it? Like, what if, like people ask this all the time, like one decision, you can make one decision and then, but in the alternate universe, you made another decision. And like, that's the whole basis of it. And like people get lost in like the big multiverse of it all and like seeing 3 different versions of the same person when really the fun part of it is like, what would my life have been like if I hadn't accidentally killed my brother? That is like what this entire universe is essentially answering. And I think that's so fun and interesting. And it obviously makes Chris spiral even further. But as we move, like, we've talked about Chris a lot. I want to talk about the
Not
other
yet.
11 stray kids and Amelia Harcourt. Let's kind of start with her. She gets called, she says she's has toxic masculinity, which I think is hilarious because yes, women can enable toxic masculinity, can engage in toxic masculinity, and she has an addiction to violence. This girl loves getting her ass beat. She loves getting into fights. She is an adrenaline junkie, and clearly has issues with emotional ties and everything. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts on Amelia Harcourt and like her whole thing with Chris, and just like the fact that she lost her sense of purpose because she got blacklisted by Amanda Waller. Mike?
Yeah, well, I don't want to make this just like gender specific, but like we just with Amelia, like I felt with her losing her job, some people they use their own they put all their identity into their career, whether that might be you being a lawyer, being a businesswoman, whatever, or you being working in this special division that now you're being excommunicated from. So even if you try to go for the FBI or anything like that, being blacklisted is like, this is all I know. When you say this is all I know, so I what I feel like I'm meant to do, and you're not letting me do this, like, yeah, it messes with you with your sense of identity. But I think it's also the moment where last season where she started to let people back in. The moment she does that, then she loses everything. When even after the conflict been resolved and all this like that, she nearly died last season. So it's just like there's a lot of things like that. But yeah, I feel like there's more layers to her that we'll find out later. But I think to the actress, I felt like she did a really good job in terms of expanding just in terms of her emotional range from season 1 to season 2, and just like her fully owning this character. And who really didn't have that much material to deal with, in the comics and stuff. But now it's like, because just of the films you've been in and everything, but also, the writer and director very well. So it's just like, what the vision is going down the line with this character. So how to, put yourself in position as an actress to deliver that, the best out of that role. And I'm feeling for her. It's just like, even the moment she getting her butt kicked in the bar, like, I don't like to see that, but at the same time, it's again the loathing just of it all. Like, just basking in violence and just like, no, hit me, yeah. And I think again, it's sad to see that, but again, I really want to get into another female character in this that was the actual main person that led to all of this happening, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later in a second. But what about you, Andy? Thoughts on
No, I agree. I mean, people is gonna call me a James Gunn shill for saying that, but I actually do enjoy Jennifer Holland as an actor. I think first of all, I don't know what her action background is, but like, she scares me. But like, because she had, of course, great fights in season 1, and we're gonna see some cool stuff in season 2. So like, just keep watching. But yeah, I again, like I said, I love the fact there are layers to these characters that were like, again, they were supposed to be small characters in the Suicide Squad, and now like, we're they're becoming 3-dimensional. Like, now we're actually caring about like what happens to them. So it's very parallel, like, especially with like her and Peacemaker, of like the kind of self-loading, and I think I'll have more to say about her later in the season. Like, but again, it was brutal, like seeing like that kind of fight, like when they throw her out the bar, and like she kind of just lies there, and I'm thinking like, really, no one else is like, you're not even gonna go check on her or like call the ambulance or like nothing. Okay, cool, I see.
Let's talk about Adebayo, or Ads as they call her, which is very cute. She is in complete denial, I think, of the impact that her decision has had on the rest of her friends. She's like trying to start the security company. She is being there for Chris. Like, her and Chris being besties is probably one of my favorite things about the show. I genuinely love how they support each other, and like also the fact that like Adrian's very jealous about it, and that's so real when your best friend has another best friend, and then you're like, am I still their best friend? Like, that's so real. Like, I get that, and It's so funny to see Adrian put in that role, because it's so minor, but it makes them all feel so much more human. But Ads is dealing with issues. Her she thinks they're on a break, but they're broken up. Her and her girlfriend slash fiance slash partner. She is in denial in every aspect of her life. She's in denial of what she has done. So let's talk about ads. I also don't think that we're getting enough of her in the first 3 episodes. I feel like we didn't get enough of her. I think we're getting a little more of her in the fifth, but like I really want more from ads and like just the impact of like the whole Amanda Waller of it all. What do you guys?
That is a big negative for me because again, for what I've seen, that concern doesn't lead, at least what I've all seen. I'm like, yeah, does she got an Oscar nomination by her now? Okay, hey, put her in here. But like, yeah, I it's just to me because that was a big story point. We had a cameo of Viola Davis. We have a Waller show in development, but I just think like, what if this not, are you just saving this material just for that show? But if that's the case, then why would you like introduce it if you're not going to expand on it later? Because it's like, when are we gonna get a Waller show? But not anytime soon. So it's just like, for me, it's like either we don't see Viola Davis in this season or whatever. Like that's a big pivotal moment. Like and just think on paper, I'd out my own mother. Like what does that do? To some when the whole complex of Peacemaker about your parents, you're not what you're dealing with abandonment or dealing with like, well, I know who my parent and also the fact that Adebayo and Chris both can relate. Hey, our parents are not the best people. Like and it's like, come on, there's a lot of material there, and even the naive, I don't want to say naiveness of her character, but it's just like, yeah, it's just almost like you just become across like as a nice asshole, where it's like you just like, well, okay, you're not being a jerk about it, but you're also not taking full accountability. Like, hey, I'm sorry, like I needed to do this, but like now we have no jobs. Argus is still watching us, and what your marriage and stuff is broken. Who cares? We don't have jobs. Like it's like that's literally what it feels like for them. And I know that when people don't have that level of, whether it's not social cues, but just self-awareness, even when it comes to her own marriage, it's just like you're just walking up here unannounced, like, and stuff like that's they're not respecting their boundaries. And so it's just like it's it's sad to see that. But again, if you're watching a human story of characters making mistakes and like this is what they'll be doing, they're gonna be flawed in that way. I thought it was interesting to say, yeah, we were gonna go to Gotham. I'm like, what are you gonna do in Gotham City? Well, what's that Gotham that you're trying to go? Like, I'm trying to leave, bitch. I'm not going back to Gotham City. If I came from there, I'm leaving.
Right. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, without giving them too much away, I mean, I do agree with you guys that these first 5, like, I mean, definitely, there's more of Leota like towards the episodes that we've seen later in the season. But yeah, because Daniel Brooks was like the second reason like I won't even watch Peacemaker. I was like, okay, I watch John Cena, but I'm like, but also I really love Daniel Brooks. So I'm like, yes. She was one of the best characters of season 1. So I'm like, but it is kind of funny to seeing like how like out of it she seems, like, well, my girl, you dropped like one of the biggest national secrets of all time about your own mother. So and like again, like if it's like what Mike is saying, if they're saving this for Waller, like the way we work for it again, it's Jeremy Carver from Doom Patrol and one of the Watchmen writers, they're running it together. It's like, and all the way up by old Dave, like I'm willing to wait for that, if it's going to be really good. But while we're doing Peacemaker, we got to make sure that she also has stuff to do and not just being like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love them being best friends. Like the car ride is so cute and whatever, but like, I don't want to just think of her as like the delusional girl who's just not realizing that, oh yeah, like life is not really playing the way it should right now. So but I would say like anytime Daniel Brooks is on screen, I'm always happy. Like she always brings a great energy, and so and yeah, holy fuck, she's awesome. She got an Oscar now to her name. Like, come on, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do more with her, James. Do more with her.
Do more. Yes.
And we have before I wrap up, I want to one more thing about like I think we don't get as much about Economos in this episode. We actually see way more. We get more of his like arc in the next episode as we go on. But I will say, shout out to Economos because I think he's going through his own trajectory of like. At some point in the series, he like self-flagellates where he's like, I'm a coward, I'm a pussy, like blah, blah, blah. But he's been really like watching out for his friends all season long. And I gotta shout out Economist because he really is, he's like, he kind of is the backbone of the group. Like everyone else is spiraling, freaking out. And he's like, hey, the government's fucking watching you guys. So I guess I'll fucking have your back. And it's just like nice to, he's just a very fun character to like witness. So I don't know if you guys have any deep thoughts about him because I don't want to go too far over the like in whatever,
he's more like I don't want to say a more grounded Phil Coulson, and in a way of like from the Marvel films where you always kept seeing
I can
him,
kind of see it. I can kind of see it
grounded because he's grounded because like he might be just as a person, he just sits behind a desk, but he's observant of a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be that person that that has your back in the room, in those moments and everything. Now, in terms of his character's future, I don't know. Again, I felt there was a line that he said when he was trying to act like he was a person that was a butterfly in season 1, and then kind of exposing like why did he dye his beard and all stuff like that. But it's like there's like a dark, like more darker or sadder, I should say, self-esteem reason that he views himself as a person, and which for me, I would love to see more of, because again that just goes to what James does really well. But I think what it comes is he's just like, again, his escapism is going back to work and just going down that path, and then as more people come in back into Argus, whatever, he'll still be that person where he can be the guy in the chair, but at the same time, like, hey, I'm looking out for my friends because like we did something great, even though it costs us to be benched or whatever. Like I feel like there should be more of him on an emotional level that I feel like we're gonna get later. But yeah, I think he's just escaping, going back to his job.
Any thoughts on, before we wrap up, on the opening sequence, the opening number? Do we like it more than the first season? Do we?
No.
I'm so. Oh wait,
No.
I want to say something about Economist because I love Steve McGee, and I love like I've loved Economist since I heard him screaming like, there's a motherfucking kaiju up in the shit in the Suicide Squad. That's my bro. Yeah, I feel like he's like right, like he's very much like me, where like like when like crisis is going on around everyone else, like he defects to like what he knows best, kind of like, okay, like I'm just gonna do my own thing. But again, he has still so much heart, and I appreciate about him. And so, but Vanessa's very right. There's more of him next week. So the intro, damn, I don't. It's so hard for me, Lee. Like again, like I don't know, like I love the season 1, but the season 1 too, like it's starting to get to me now. Like I was like humming it like that. Like 2 nights ago, I was playing. And them all like collapsing on each other was so funny that I'm like, is that supposed to be like a nod to something, or like is it just them being funny?
Wasn't the first one like choreographing like what was happening throughout the season? So I assume
butterflies.
So I assume the second one is just choreographing interpretation.
What the emotional level is like, again, you see Cena and Harcourt, coming together, but then diving away from each other. Like I like those moments. Again, like you kind of see what sense of going on, but we see some returning characters too. We don't know what they're gonna play.
You'll see 2 Harcourts actually in the
2, right? One with longer hair. Yes,
straight hair. So the Mary Kate and Ashley effect. One has wavy hair, one has straight hair. So you can tell so you can tell them apart.
I love seeing Frank Grillo dancing. I'm
not a huge fan of Frank Grillo, I'm not gonna lie. Just like his whole like Italian American discrimination. I'm like, dude, you're white. You're fine. Chill out. So I'm not a huge fan of Frank Grillo. I'm not gonna lie. He's just seems like a whiner. I don't like whiners. And his character is also a fucking whiner. Partially with good reason, but he still is annoying.
Partially.
Yeah. I mean, I think
you prefer him animated.
You're never gonna have me cheer for a fucking cop over.
No. I'm not
saying that. Doing this entire season. Yeah, his kid is dead. But at some point, you're just a bad cop now. You're acting like a bad cop.
So you prefer him animated?
I don't prefer him at all. I actually don't.
Okay, all right.
I don't want him around at all. I'd prefer not to have him around, actually.
Okay.
But no, I do. I appreciate what obviously his character. What his character brings to the show is interesting, and we needed to wrap up that storyline.
Yes.
From the Suicide Squad, so it makes sense. I don't hate the storyline at all. It actually makes sense. I just am not a fan of Frank Grillo on a personal level. Mm-hmm. So anyway, any last thoughts on this first episode, y'all?
No.
Even though I like the first season's intro only because I just remember how hard it just kind of just hits you and everything, and then the choreographer felt better. But this one is the choreography is meant to just tell the story of the emotional story of going on through the season, which I don't want to say I disagree how it went. I'm saying you asked me which was my favorite. I like the first season more, but over time the song does get catchy over time and everything. So it's this is not a bad intro. It's just in the theme of the show. Yeah, switch it up. But over time you can keep watching it. The song is gonna keep, and the way that we lead into the song, into the intro each episode is smart. How they
agreed. Yes. Very, very smart to have the song to start playing at a pivotal moment. It's such a good transition. I will say better than the first season, but I do.
Yes, I agree.
Season 1's intro. So I agree with you, Mike. Yeah. What about you, Andy? Any last thoughts?
Solid premiere, fun seeing all these characters together again, and I kind of want to be next Thursday already so we can talk about episode 2.
I know, I'm really excited to talk about episode 2.
By the way, I want to note to everyone watching, the intro was specifically one of the things that we were not allowed to talk about in our advisory, because one of my friends texted me he was like, I thought you guys were talking did you guys not like the intro? I'm like, bro, we're not allowed to talk about it. It's
literally allowed. It says details about the dance sequence in the opening credits. We were not allowed to talk about at all until this episode. They do not want anything. There are because I said, I think there are the stories telegraphs, the intro telegraphs the entire season. So if smart people are gonna figure out,
even the trailer, they hide stuff.
It's just, I get James is very secretive about what's going on this season, which makes sense. Yeah, but we were not allowed.
Yeah. Well, bro, really fun premiere, and 7 more to go.
All right. Where can our listeners find you guys before we sign off? Andy?
Well, you can find me at AnimeBite on all social media. I'm a senior writer for Screener.com, so all the latest news about TV and film, you can catch me there. I'm also the editor-in-chief of multiverseofcolor.com, but I play a very small role in comparison to what all my amazing partners and writers are doing. I mean, these last 3 weeks, if you guys have been following MOC, we've been we're still posting a lot of SDCC stuff. We're doing interviews. We're podcasting is back. There's more things in the works that you will have to just wait and see. Again, Vanessa's amazing comic coverage, and there's just a lot of good stuff there happening. So I'm honored I get to even be part of this. So yeah, that's where you can find me. And Showrunner Whisper, I am trying to look at it bringing it back again on a certain schedule, but it's just 2025 has just not been an easy year. So and you can also find me here on the Studios podcast with all these amazing guys. So yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Hey, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and everything. I'm at JediMy7. Brought to you by Soa Media. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot to change this because I'm using me and my wife are recording a podcast on the side. Our
that's
church.
That's why I said Mr. and
Mrs. Yeah. Oh, I just now noticed that. My bad. I had not noticed the whole episode. Wow,
very
that's funny.
cute.
But yeah, follow me at JediMike7 on YouTube, Instagram, and everything. Also, I'll be going to Canada for TIFF in about 2 weeks and everything. So I'll be doing a lot of coverage and interviews, red carpets and everything, all that there. So
Yay! I'm so excited for you. I
Another
cannot
short?
wait. I'm be stalking your story the entire time. Like, that's my nephew. Look at him. Anyway, you can find me at Vanessa Shark on everything. I'm on Threads so much more now, mostly because of the WNBA. I cover WNBA with Brother Nate over at the Nefarious Media Network and the Kings of Sport podcast. If you want to hear me talk about sports, I am a very different person when I talk about sports, so you can watch me over there. I also cover shit on the Multiverse of Color that Andy said. I have interviews coming up with some comic writers that I'm excited to post and like do. I also I'm updating my VanessaShark.com, so that's updated with all my shit. There's other stuff I'm working with Mike on, and then what else? Oh, I'm going to New York Comic Con in October. Very excited to do that. I'm really hoping to. There's like so much fun, like actual good stuff this year, so I'm actually really excited about the like.
I think you're gonna get Supergirl at New York Comic Con.
I hope so. I really hope, but I'm excited for just whatever we get for DC wise. But yeah, that's what we'll be doing, and we'll be back here next week for episode 2, which I'm very excited about. Very, very excited to talk about. All right, y'all. Visit multiverseofcolor.com for all your latest news and reviews and interviews and all that. Bye.